Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotel. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I am your sister with the curly braids, Vicki Dillard, and I'm so pleased that you have joined me today on my new weekly live channel here at VickiDillard.tv. I have missed you all over the past couple of weeks, but I thank you for your extraordinary understanding and patience. For those of you that don't know, I want you to always make sure that you're paying attention to the community page here on YouTube. Follow me also on my Instagram page at Vicki X Dillard. That's VICKI X Dillard. I'm also on Twitter at Dillard Vicki. I'm on TikTok now at I am Vicki Dillard. And of course, my couple of Facebook pages at Vicki Dillard. I also give content on a large network on African Diaspora News Channel. So I want you to know I give updates on a regular basis. That's why I mentioned all of those platforms, because I have been traveling for the past couple of weeks. And I had a couple of holistic treatments to make sure that I'm taking care of my body first. Some of you all know that your sister is determined to overcome all forms of limitations and illnesses and stuff. So I had to take care of me first. I know my schedule has been off, but that's okay. Somebody's saying how my show is banned today and they don't know that I'm here. That's okay, beloved. You already know how they do me, but I appreciate those of you. Do me this favor on the count of 3, hit that thumbs up button and share. When you intentionally share my link on your social media platforms, no matter how big or small, you just never know who will reach. I'll explain my power in just a minute. What I mean by that is not just the quantity, even though that's important, that we're reaching as many people as possible. But my power represents the quantity of the individuals that I'm raising up, and how my message is being seeded in multiple fields. Somebody talk black to me. Y'all know I got to hit the gavel, because the Vicki Show is a home of the hand claps and the gavel raps. I always have to explain to people when folks are so bothered and wonder what is the big deal about Vicki Dillard. Baby, it's my energy. It's my assignment. Talk black to me. It's metaphysical and spiritual. The reason why the powers that shouldn't be are so bothered consistently over the years by your sister. Somebody black, talk black to me. It's just that now we're getting a harvest because of the seeds that my message and my content and my shows and my broadcast have been seeding and disseminating over the years. And it's proof that we are backed by the higher realms. Talk black to me. But I was referring to a minute ago that I wanted you to be sure to share the broadcast today by sharing the link. That helps us to overcome some of the limitations and these algorithms on some of these platforms. Would you hit that thumbs up button and share on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I must say I have missed you. I'm so pleased that you've joined me today. Shout out to our beautiful moderators that's in the digital building that's highlighted in blue. Cool Keezy. My sister Shalina. Thank you all so much for giving of your time. Family, you all know that I've helped to build large networks over the years, such as Dr. Boyce TV, Your Black World, Fly Nubian Queen. There are multiple platforms. They have affiliate and sister networks that we're connected to that I've helped to build over the years, but I'm no longer on those platforms anymore. Some of you say that you can't find me. So let everybody know that you know that Vicki is using her own channel to go live weekly at Vicki Dillard TV on YouTube. That's Vicki Dillard on TV on YouTube. My main platform, though, is my own website, where I'm going to continue to grow Vicki University, which is my spiritual metaphysical school, and so many other yummy contents, projects, and events that will be coming up. So stay tuned for that, okay? Thank you all so very much. Now let's get to where we're going as quickly as possible. Family, you all, before I went to out of town to take care of some holistic stuff and business stuff, I was traveling mostly for my health, but also for business. You all know that just before I did that, some of you should know that just before I did that, I'm trying to let my Instagram family know I'm here. I did a show. Um, I did a show concerning your girl. What's her name? Tiffany. Y'all, I am not playing. I genuinely, honest to goodness, keep forgetting her name, Tiffany Cross, because she's trying to be memorable. She's trying to be memorable. She's trying not to be a forgettable. You understand? So sometimes your own people on certain platforms, they will do outrageous things, talk black to me, in order to get attention, and most importantly, to have your open enemy scratch their little itches. God today, let me get off the word itch, because that rhymes with something else and stuff. So they do little strange and weird stuff so that they can get the approval, in other words, of your open enemy. So they go to do some of this outrageous stuff that they know is going to please your open enemy and the oppressive class. So they go overboard. Somebody talk black to me, to ensure that when they're itching, they don't want just anybody scratching them. If you understand. Their desire, beloved, in their minds, they believe that they've made it. When they're on these white platforms, when they get these Addy boys, these bones and biscuits, these accolades, these little awards, these little brand deals, these little features and covers and mentions and stuff, they made it in their little minds and stuff. Somebody put 1 or 2 bones in the chat. Don't put too many, because for some reason on some of these platforms, they block your comments when you do too many bones. So just do just a bone. A bone will do. Somebody say a bone will do. Somebody say a bone will do. Yes, beloved. Just 1 bone will do. Talk black to me. Now, I want to remind you, let me catch you all up to speed. I won't be before you long, but I will be strong. Okay? So, before I went to go take care of a couple of health treatments, I did a show regarding this clip of Tiffany Cross, an MSNBC host, making a very direct and outrageous comment on MSNBC. Okay? Now, watch this, okay? Let me get the volume up. Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for purposes such as fair use, criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, just to remind you very quickly, I won't belabor the point because we're going to get to where we're going. And I want to let some of you all know, I've said this over the past, since the beginning of the year. Do not expect me to go into a whole bunch of other content. We're going to be focused on Black issues leading up to the elections that's coming up November 8th. Is it November 8th or 2nd? What day did I just say? What day is it, rather? Let me double check this election day. I told you all before November 8th. Yes, that was right. I told you all before that I'm going to be emphasizing the tricks of mainstream media to lead our people astray into getting us to vote for nothing. I'm all about voting, but I believe in voting for something. See, Black folks, your vote has accomplished stuff for everybody but you. Somebody talk black to me. Your vote gives power to people over you. See, these are your lawmakers and your policymakers. Your lawmakers and policymakers are engaged in making rules and laws and codifications and statutes that you are compelled to obey. Are y'all hearing me? Most of the stuff they do is not discretionary. In other words, it's not optional. So when you're putting people in power to rule over you, that's important. The people, Black family, that you overwhelmingly gave power to, which are the Democrats, have given billions of dollars to white Ukrainians, billions of dollars to Afghanis, millions and millions of dollars in protections to the AAPI community, the Asian Pacific Island community in a year's time, LGBTQ benefits and protections. Everybody is getting stuff but you. We believe in intelligent voting. We believe in you voting for something. Are y'all hearing me? So I told you all months ago that I'm not going to be moving all over the planet with all kinds of content and not leading it back to this upcoming election for November 8th. Because they want to hijack all of the attention, all of the commercials, your iPads, your iPhones, cable, all forms of multimedia, podcast, print, digital, name it. They want all of your attention on voting. They tell you to get reparations for Black family. For us, Black family, they've got to do all kinds of studies and stuff. They got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. None of those hoops were necessary for the Ukrainians. None of those hoops were necessary when they determined there was an emergency for the pandemic. And so most of Americans got a couple of checks. And America spent trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, plus. Now, I coined the phrase a long time ago, LOM, League of Mammies, because there is a sorority of Black-looking women that are cheap help for our open enemies. They save money by getting these Black women to work on behalf of white supremacy. They're known as LOM, L-O-M, the League of Mammies. Your open enemy utilizes Black-looking women on these strategic platforms to mislead Black people and to bolster and embolden white supremacists and white supremacy agendas. Can y'all see me? My computer just did something real weird. My whole screen went away. I hope y'all can see me okay. So LOM is the cheap help. They don't require benefits to register for white supremacist army. They don't require those kinds of benefits. They don't need a lot, but they get a lot done for your open enemy. You understand? So, okay, somebody said, okay, now I can see you, the comments again. Somebody said, we can see you. Thank you, Shalina. Somebody talk Black to me. Let me hurry up and get to where I'm going. So just to remind you, they get these Black-looking women to do the bidding of the other side so that you can trust in them and take their advice. And it's not just Black women, of course. I give Black men this everlasting work, but there is an unusual emphasis on Black women. They prefer Black women to do the bidding because they tend to be more effective because there's an automatic trust factor that comes with a feminine energy, you see. Now watch this. In case you forgot, this is just a brief clip of what Tiffany Cross MSNBC's Tiffany Cross said recently.
Point here. I will say, a lot of Black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by Black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting Black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the Black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that.
She just doesn't understand that. She actually sits up here and tries to act like that the Republicans are the enemy only, when it's the Democrats we've been giving power to that are responsible for some of the most damaging and devastating legislation. They've given us the big, fat middle finger. They're the ones that have enacted policies that help to destroy the Black family, like the Crime Bill of 1994 and so many other things. They're the ones under a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House of Representatives, and a Democratic presidency. They're the ones that's giving benefits to white Ukrainians, Afghans, LGBTQ, AAPI, and others. They're the ones that's screwing you over. You understand? Whoever's mentioning those names, you're absolutely right. Don Lemonade, Jonathan Capehart's little juicy self, Mark Lamonte Hill and stuff. These are some of the wicked voices. They are D1 and not B1. B1 is supposed to mean Black first, whereas D1 means they're Democratic first. Why is that so dangerous? Why do I emphasize that often? I emphasize the danger that often because as long as you say you're Democrat and they do nothing for you, they're okay with advocating a polite white supremacist. See, they're not concerned about Black liberation, Black self-determination, Black empowerment. See, they're D1. They want you to be okay with the whiff of the biscuit, not you even getting the leftovers and the biscuits and the crumbs. They want you to be okay that you are somewhere near the kitchen where there's a scent of biscuits being baked. And if you're talking about the real biscuits that they give them now, you're not even getting flour biscuits. You're getting doggy biscuits, fool. So as long as you're within about 2 or 3 yards, they throw you the biscuit. And you're okay with jumping up in the air trying to catch a doggy biscuit. Talk Black to me. Because the Democrats have proven to do nothing substantive for us. I brought this clip up. I did a show on it talking about the fact that this is once again another Black woman on a white platform supporting white supremacy and dogging out Black people, right? Well, other voices expose Tiffany too. Other voices expose MSNBC too, right? And as far as I know, she hasn't blocked those individuals. And some of the very folks that she referred to, like our brother Tariq, I haven't at least heard where she has gone out of her way to block him. Perhaps she has. But to be sure, I wasn't blocked before the show. Right after I did the show, the broadcast, and I didn't do just the broadcast here at Vicki Dillard TV. I also did a broadcast on my brother's channel, African Diaspora News channel. Miss Tiffany Cross. Look what she did, y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all, I was in denial. I don't know why I be in denial. I still be trying to give these biscuits the benefit of the doubt. So I was trying to edit something on my Instagram page. And I even went to Google to make sure I did it right and stuff and making sure I wasn't hitting the wrong button because you all know because there are little glitches that can happen. You know, you might think it's something and it's really not. Watch this. Do you all know what this symbol means on Instagram? This is from Miss Tiffany Cross, little Miss MSNBC. Forgettable. Can't even remember your name. This is what she did. Watch this. Y'all take a screenshot. Now watch this. So then I was like, wow, okay. You know, I'm so used to different ones just doing me like that. So I was thinking, okay, that's just Instagram. Well, she got a couple of Twitter pages, you know, one for the show for MSNBC. So they know it don't look too good if their actual show with MSNBC blocks you. So I was just thinking it was Instagram. Child, watch this. Somebody tagged me on something or another. And I don't halfway be knowing how to really work Twitter like that. So I clicked on something. Child, watch this. Look at this. Y'all, what does it say? What does it say, child? On one of her Twitter pages. What does one of her Twitter pages say, y'all? What does one of her Twitter pages say, y'all? Take a screenshot because I don't want y'all thinking I'm lying and stuff. In case they try to switch it up later on. So, you all know that the current press secretary, the Haitian LGBTQ swirler, Kareem Jean-Pierre. How many of y'all know who your White House press secretary is? They want you to be excited because she's the first Black press secretary. Well, this is in case you didn't forgot, and I can understand if you don't know who she is and forgot who she is. This is her. So y'all remember some time back, I did a show, I did a broadcast, and it was totally spontaneous. It was on the weekend. It was on one of the other platforms I was on. The video went viral, hundreds of thousands of views. It went viral. Everybody started picking it up. And I was defending Snoop Dogg because Susan Rice, who formerly worked with the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, she worked for the State Department. She threatened Snoop. So I was calling her out for threatening Snoop. And I barely mentioned Kareem Jean-Pierre. Kareem Jean-Pierre's name, I briefly mentioned her because she went on MSNBC's Morning Joe to try to defend that madness. So she wasn't even the main focus of my criticism, but her funny looking self, your little press secretary, she blocked me on Instagram. She blocked me on Twitter. And y'all know Jonathan Capar's little juicy self blocked me. I don't even deal with your little juicy self. Just as juicy. Little stevia running around. Just stevia. Y'all know what stevia is, don't you? That little, just little sweetener and stuff. Just little stevia running around and stuff. He gonna block me just with his juicy stuff. And y'all know I gotten calls, literal calls from MSNBC folks, just keeping it real. I've had CNN folks message me mad about my show. Why? Because the seed of your sister Vicki's wisdom, my words, my energy threatens them. See, they don't worry about your loudmouth, knucklehead haters that may have a couple of views here and there. They're not worried about them. They're worried about those who are substantively a threat to the systems that they defend and work for. I don't want to keep this about the Vicki that you can see with your two eyes. I want you to understand that this is about your power. Why are they upset with me? Because I continue to yank off the mask that they wear. The beautiful, dark melanin skin, I never let my people get tricked by. The curly, coily hair, I never let my people get tricked by. The fact that you are a female, I won't let you get tricked by that. And the fact that she's in a relationship with another white woman, I don't let you get tricked by the tricks. They don't even block the men that go off on them. Don't y'all find that strange? The Black men that do back-to-back broadcasting shows on these very League of Mammy members, don't block them. not like they do me. It's even more dangerous when it's an all the way Black woman that calls you out. Somebody say, all the way. Baby, I'm all the way. And stop. I'm an all the way up in this piece. And they're upset because their cover is blown. What about? They have trained and programmed us to believe that power is in a mere vote for the Democratic Party, or that power is in voting, period. I don't teach you that. I teach you that even if you don't vote, you still can affect change. Did you hear what I just said? They want you to believe that voting is true power. And that's the only way to affect change. Nah, baby. I teach you to tap into your goddess energies. I teach you to tap into the ancestral power. I teach you to tap into both your terrestrial and celestial energies. I teach you that you can rule your own life and you can operate as a nation within a nation, just like nobody thinks it's strange when they go into major cities and you regularly see what they call Chinatown. Chinatown in most major cities are just like you going to a little mini China, right? Their own banks, their own credit unions, their own schools, their own businesses, their own industries. Yes, nobody thinks it's strange. And their numbers of voters pales in comparison to ours. But if the Chinese community need to buy a politician because they've built up so much wealth in their business, they have learned how to grow other forms of power. So if they need to buy a politician, meaning to put some money behind a certain politician for a particular legislative agenda that's going to benefit their Chinese businesses, they have the reserves to do so. Somebody talk Black to me. They have taught you, Black family, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the economics. They've got some of you all so silly and programmed concerning money that you dog your own Black brothers and sisters every time they're operating in business and doing something to level up economically. Your Black boys are the ones that's calling them a scam. You've demonized folks that have money and resources, and then you turn around and claim, well, now it's how you taking the money. Negro, your open enemy has stolen everything from Black folks. And if you have not, you don't have the same kind of energy for them that you do for your own. Voting. I told you, don't expect Vicki to talk about nothing but that until November 8th has passed. And then I'm going to go back to it again because the presidential election be coming up after that. Watch this. Thumbs up, family. Share. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Thank all of you all that have been giving so extraordinarily to my Cash App at OPWVICKI. Those of you that have been giving to my PayPal at onpurpose@ymail.com. Some of you have been sending gifts in my P.O. box. Some of you do super chats here on YouTube. All of your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. And I want to thank you so very much. Watch this. Let's talk about voting. Let's talk about 1965 when the Voting Rights Act was passed. White men aged 21 and older who owned property were given the right to vote in 1776. Yes, family? Let me just give you some background. The 15th Amendment of the Constitution removed racial barriers to voting in 1870, but states continued to practice voter discrimination and continued to deny Black voters a chance to participate in elections, allegedly. Talk black to me, family. See, white supremacy always has tricks to your oppression. They just rename stuff and get you to agree. The right to vote was extended to white women in 1920. It wasn't until 1965, after years of intimidation, murders, and advocacy, that the path to the voting booth was cleared for Black people with the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965. Y'all listen. 8 days after Martin Luther King Jr. led a peaceful civil rights march in Selma, President Lyndon B. Johnson announced his intention to pass a Federal Voting Rights Act to ensure that no federal, state, or local government could in any way impede people from voting because of their race or ethnicity. He signed the Voting Rights Act into law that year, banning racial discriminatory practices in voting, including literacy tests. Y'all listen. Some of the provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Originally legislators hoped that within 5 years of its passage, y'all think about this. Legislators hoped that within 5 years of its passage, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, they had hoped, y'all, that within 5 years of its passage, the issues surrounding the Voting Rights Act would be resolved and that there would be no further need for its enforcement-related provisions. That would be about what, 1970, right? They thought that all the issues concerning enforcement of the Voting Rights Act would be resolved 5 years after the 1965 passage. Clearly, they were wrong. Y'all hit that thumbs up button, please. Share, share, share. Y'all know I'm shadow banned. The notifications haven't gone out. That's okay. At the right time, the right people will hear this broadcast. You all know I seek my message on multiple platforms, so I know at the right time a harvest is going to come. But you can help us by sharing the broadcast. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so very much. Watch this. By the way, be sure you subscribe to Vicki Dillard TV as well. Congress had to extend these provisions. 1970, 1975, 1982, 2007. Family, if they can't even enforce your right to vote or to participate in your government, and they have to keep on doing tricks, provisionary tricks multiple times, how can they say that you have power when it can be regularly and consistently altered? Some of these requirements for certain jurisdictions with a history of disenfranchising voters to obtain approval or pre-clearance from the U.S. Department of Justice or the U.S. District Court in D.C. before they can make any changes to voting practices or procedures. They must prove that the proposed change does not deny or infringe on the right to vote or on account of race or color. Requirements for certain jurisdictions to provide language assistance to voters in communities where there is a concentration of citizens who aren't proficient in English. Federal elections examiners and observers for certain jurisdictions where there is evidence of attempts to intimidate, this says here, minority voters on this particular website at the polls. Watch this. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 remains one of the hardest fought safeguards, it says, for Black Americans. The power, agency, and access to vote is a civil right for all. The most recent attempt to strengthen the right to vote in the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, introduced in Congress in the early 2019, the proposed bill was renamed following the passing of civil rights activist and longtime House of Representative member John R. Lewis. You all know that your Supreme Court gutted one of the most important provisions of it since said time. You all know that they are gerrymandering and they are messing with maps, voting maps, so that you're unable, so that your vote isn't effective and it's not reflecting the percentage of Black folks in particular areas. My sister, who I was in the belly of the beast with, in federal prison with in Texas, Crystal Mason, after serving her time, being an upstanding citizen, working, raising children that were not even her own, she was encouraged to vote. Her probation officer, they even testified to the fact that she was not told that she couldn't do X, Y, and Z. She was coerced into going down there thinking that she had every right to vote after jumping through all of these hoops and doing what she believed that she was supposed to do. And it was a provisional vote that she cast, which means the provisional vote was never included in the election. They shipped my sister back to federal prison because they considered that to be a violation. I think she did just under a year. And that because it's a state issue, they've given her a 5-year prison sentence. Right now, she's still in court to get that overturned. You all know that in Florida, the Black men mostly that are affected by those elections laws down there, they are now imprisoning those very Black men that they claim that they overturned, excuse me, the state law for. They're now imprisoning those very Black men that they tricked recently. You all know that with George W. Bush and in other elections, they intentionally show disproportionately Black men and women as felons, even though they weren't, so that George W. could win the election. Election machines that were run by Republicans intentionally were programmed to flip the vote of Black people for the Republican. Did you all know that after that particular election, one of the white voting machine companies that were run by Republicans, they had to pay back millions of dollars in a settlement? But who cared at that time because they had already won the election? Why am I bringing these things up? I'm trying to get you all to see that if your vote can be changed and tampered with, and they can actually imprison you over the tricks around it, can we really call that power? And is that something that we need to really be relying on like that? Not only that, thumbs up, family. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. What's happening now? Thumbs up, family. What does this headline say here? From USA Today. This piece I was looking at today that was just published. What date does this article from USA Today, what day is this dated on? Can you all see this? What day does that say, family? It's today's date. Voting rights, the Supreme Court to dig into claims of racial gerrymandering in Alabama. The High Court will hear oral arguments Tuesday in a case about whether the Voting Rights Act of 1965 requires states to consider race as they divvy communities up in congressional districts. Do you know what that means, family? Let me help you in just a minute. Let me give you a little bit more information from the article, what I was reading earlier today. I'm going to get down to this second paragraph of this article that I really want you to pay attention to, but listen to the intro. Just over a year ago, the Supreme Court walloped a key provision of the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act. Remember, I referred to that a few minutes ago. They want you to believe we overcame in 1965, which was still considered to really be just yesterday. But nevertheless, they want Black folks to believe that we were given the right to vote in 1965. And think about that. You were given the right for freedom when white folks told you they were ready to give it to you. That can't be real power. Real power cannot be when your open enemy tells you you have it. Did you hear what I just said? Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Would you share this broadcast? Let everybody know that your sister with the curly braids, Vicki Dillard, has started her own weekly new channel here at Vicki Dillard TV on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my email list on my website too, family, at VickiPlanet.com, because I'm going to have a whole bunch of other yummy projects and events coming up. You don't want to miss it. Watch this. I told you I ain't just no YouTuber, baby. I use YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and other platforms to seed my message. But your sister with the curly braids is not just a YouTuber. I use it as a means to get my message out. I mention that because my messages are important. They're divine. They will shape your life. And it's the reason why your open enemy constantly comes against it in ways that you never see them come against a lot of the others. Talk back to me. I'm talking about on a consistent basis. Get back to this, Vicki. Just over a year ago, the Supreme Court walloped a key provision of the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act. So what are we talking about voting for? When just a year ago, they're tampering with your black right to vote. Keep listening. Let me start over. This time I'm going to make sure that I don't interrupt myself. Just over a year ago, the Supreme Court walloped a key provision of the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act, making it tougher to establish that a change to an election law, say cutting back on early voting, discriminated against minority voters. Now, voting rights advocates fear the court is winding up for another swing. The justices will hear oral arguments Tuesday, that's tomorrow, in a challenge to Alabama's recently redrawn congressional map, which includes, y'all listen, one district out of 7 with a majority of black voters, even though African Americans make up 27% of the state's population. The court's ruling could have sweeping implications for congressional maps nationwide. Alabama officials assert the new districts are race neutral and that creating a second African American district would require map makers to focus on race as their top priority, a command they say would itself amount to unconstitutional discrimination. Opponents say that arguments turn the whole point of the Voting Rights Act on its head. The Voting Rights Act was created precisely to prevent the kind of manipulation of district lines that undermine the political power of black communities that we see in Alabama, said Sophia Lynn Lankin of the American Civil Liberties Union, one of the groups that initially challenged Alabama's new congressional districts last fall. The case arrives at the high court weeks before the November midterms, though the decision won't land in time to affect the year's election. It is one of several cases involving race that the justices are considering as the Supreme Court's 6-3 conservative majority has viewed policies that focus to combat discrimination with skepticism. I'm bringing all these facts, not to overwhelm you with all of these details, but to remind you that they're still tampering with your right to vote that they said you got in 1965. Did y'all hear what I just said? Did you all hear what I just said? On multiple occasions over the years since 1965, they continue to tamper specifically with black folks' right to vote. I'm bringing that up to say, if someone can so easily remove what they call power from us, why should we be giving it that much attention? Should we be focusing on other forms of power like economic power? So since the vote is so fickle, shouldn't we be telling the Democrats, since we disproportionately give you so much quote unquote power with this vote, and you guys keep giving white Afghans, white Ukrainians, LGBTQ, the Asian Pacific Islanders, all our stuff, all our money. Every time they issue billions and trillions of dollars, they are messing with our money. That's our money. We built the country. We're the true founding fathers and mothers of these United States of America. Black looking people, your black bone and biscuits, your boule class, Negroes that are more concerned about getting a position in government than they are about black liberation, they will tell you that you are simple Simon mother effers. Remember, Roland constantly called us that because we disagreed politically. MSNBC's little Tiffany, the forgettable, Joy, Les Reed, Don Lemonade, CNN's Don Lemonade, other Negro black bootlicks. They cuss us out and tell us that we're playing with losing power positions when we don't just automatically vote when the Democrats refuse to push our substantive economic black agenda. My point is saying, you guys mess with it all the time, and it clearly seems to be nothing. They were so mad at Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden promised that he was going to push it. Remember, it was the Democrats that weren't even pushing black voting rights initially. Since Joe Biden has been in office, since him and your Indian Vice President Kamala Harris, since your white president and your Indian Vice President has taken office, your most faithful bone and biscuits even criticized the Biden Harris administration because they weren't doing enough to push black voting rights. Is that right? They don't like folks like me because I tell you that just like other immigrant communities coming to our country, eat up our benefits, and they still function as a nation within a nation. They're still able to educate their children. They're still able to make big money. They're still able to buy land. They're still able to benefit with the IRS tax codes. I simply said, why is it that they come to black folks and tell us to keep making up the difference, but they don't put that same kind of voting pressure on those other groups? The other voting groups emphasize their economic power more than they do their voting power because they understand that when they're economically sound, that you can use your money to make big boss moves. Reparations is the root to most issues in black society. When you look at high crime rates in any society or group, it's directly, in most cases, directly economically connected. When you look at educational disparities, it's an economic driver that causes those disparities. Medical disparities, economic driver at the root. Domestic and family issues, economic drivers at the root. That's why when you push reparations, you are automatically covering all those other issues they want you to focus on separately. We don't go to the fruit, we go to the root of the issue. Do you understand? Why reparations should be our main objective, black family. And for you new funny looking Negroes, I've been pushing reparations. I've been discussing black economic empowerment. Those of you that are still brand new, those of you that are brand new, should watch your mouth. Just keep Vicki Dillard's name out your mouth. Don't put me in no group. Don't come over here telling me what I need to do. Who are you, strangers? When I was experiencing multiple death threats, physical threats from multiple people and groups for years, when I was being defamed and disrespected from loudmouth YouTubers and from those that some of you say you respect, You didn't come to my aid. When your sister with the curly braids is running around here trying to live, you trying to tell me what I ought to do? You better go sit your funny looking self down. I became the target of some of these networks and individuals because I'm rocking powerfully for the Black grassroots. You better do your part of the body, baby. The head doesn't do the job of the foot or the feet. The next job is not the function of the liver or the kidney. I've taught you for years, there are different kinds of soldiers. The soldiers that cook, the soldiers that tend to your medical needs are just as important as the soldiers that's on the front lines with the weapons in their hands. You don't come telling me nothing. You don't know what it takes to sustain what it is I do. You weren't rocking with me, fool. You didn't defend me. And you played dumb when those that I defended shaded me. I've been pro-Black before I came to this space. Before I was dealing with an unjust government federal case, criminal case. Funny looking self, slowness. I became a target because of my activism. A proven track record. I wasn't even believing in social media and stuff like that, but my team before me had me out there. I was doing content. My shiesty, shady attorney had me remove all of my previous content with thousands of views because he said the government would use it against me because of the nature and the energy of my voice. I was on LaCie Broadcasting. Look it up. I was on a radio station. Some were Christian stations that I were on. And when I started talking politics, they got rid of me. Just because you hang around 3 people doesn't mean that's the whole world, fool. Funny looking self. I was teaching in women's prisons before I ever dealt with my own unjust case there. My program, Jailhouse Rock Academy, was approved by the state of Colorado. Fool! I was giving out of my own pocket thousands of dollars in scholarships many years ago, running my own food bank with my own dollars, and so much more. Uncheckable is a phrase I coined over these parts. Don't you ever forget it. You better focus on the toe. If you're the toenail, you better be the toenail good. If you're a belly button, you better be belly button the best of your ability. Focus on you. Keep my name out your mouth when you know you don't rock with me like that. With your new self, because you don't know about it. It ain't real, fool. You live in a small world, fool. It's a world, and you focus on, we got to deal with you. You ain't even dealing with your county. You want us to focus on your backyard. You ain't even wanting us to focus on your block, your city, your state. All you know is your backyard, if you have one. But I digress with all this screaming and hollering and stuff. I got to get ready to go. So, once again, the powers that shouldn't be are nervous about what we're teaching you, that your power is not limited to voting. And most importantly, your power is not limited to the establishment. They don't get to dictate to you what you can and can't do. They don't want you to discover that there's other ways to be successful, to make money, and to make moves. And I teach you exactly that. I'll catch up with you all later on some other things. You all know there's been a whole lot of stuff in the news. I've been gone for a few weeks, not going live, but again, my health comes first. So don't be asking me or telling me, some of you, when you gonna do, if you, I'm living, baby. There's other people out there that you can get content from. I'm living. That's the focus for me. Anywho, thank you for sharing this broadcast. My name is Vicki Dillard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let everybody know that you know that I'm no longer on some of those other large platforms. I'm building my own here at Vicki Dillard TV on YouTube. My main platform is my website. Be sure to join my email list at VickiPlanet.com. All of you that gave, please know that your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Be sure to check out some of my reels there. Follow me now on my new TikTok page at I Am Vicki Dillard. And follow me on Twitter as well at Dillard Vicki, and my Facebook page is at Vicki Dillard as well. There's a couple of Facebook pages. Follow me on my fan page over there as well, family. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you again.